Hello everyone, welcome to Lilthings. Winter is around the block and you don't want your ears to fall off, so let's make some earmuffs. This is the part 1 of the earmuff tutorial, and in this part we're going to be making the ear. In part 2, we're going to make the strap connecting the both ears. A little heads up, you can choose if you want to add the bow or not. It will look very thick. It might not look very nice when you look at it from the front. And you look at it from the side, it looks absolutely so cute. Like, this is the cutest thing ever. So it depends on your personal preference. I don't really mind the front view as much. This is a reminder that you can sell the crochet projects that you do following this tutorial, as long as you credit me as a pattern creator in the description of your listing. And the best website building app for your crochet business is with the Universe. Universe is a drag and drop website building app that makes your website building process so much easier. I've tried so many different website building platforms and they're usually very rigid when it comes to using their website template, and that's exactly why I love Universe so much. I love the creative freedom that they offer. You get to customize your whole website down to each block. You can add images, looping video, doodling, and adding buttons to redirect people to other pages like your Etsy or your YouTube channel. If you're based in the US, Universe Sell and Download Block allows you to sell both your physical and digital products. To make it even easier for you, I've created my own template for you. So the first page is a link in bio, and the second page is for your crochet shop or your crochet portfolio. You can literally have your website up and going today if you use my template. So click the link in the description box to have access to my template. Get Universe Pro for 25% off your first year and the free version too. So now let's talk about materials. First, of course, I'm using my own yarn. We've been building our online yarn store together for the past few months, and we're gonna launch early next year. Of course, we're going to be using that yarn in our tutorial. It's a 5-ply cotton and acrylic blend, so it's really perfect for beginners. I'm going to be using the color white, yellow, and pink. And I'm going to use 3mm hook, stuffing, darning needle, scissors. Glue is optional, but if you want to make bows, I would recommend having glue. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Without further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. So I want my earmuffs to be white, so that's the color that I'm using. And we're gonna start our project with a magic ring. To people who are really scared of magic rings, don't worry. I'm gonna demonstrate it very slowly so you guys can follow along. So first, we're gonna grab the tail using our right hand. And for our left hand, I'm just gonna place it on my fingers. Then I'm gonna grab it with my ring finger and pinky. And then I'm gonna point 2 fingers up like this. Then I'm going to wrap the tail around these 2 fingers twice. So just place it on top of the 2 fingers. Then I'm gonna bring the tail, go under the 2 fingers like this. Basically wrapped around the 2 fingers once. Then I'm gonna go on top again, like this, to make a parallel line. And then flip your hand. Bring this tail, yarn tail here, to the palm of our hand, and then we're gonna secure our tail with our thumb. So now you should have a cross at the bottom, and then on the top, you'll have a parallel line. And then now, once you have this, you're gonna grab your hook. So this is our first loop, this is our second loop. Okay, so we're gonna insert our hook under the first loop, which is this one. We go under, and then we're gonna grab the second loop using our hook. After I've grabbed onto the second loop, we're gonna pull it through the first loop. So we just pull it like this. So after pulling it through, we're going to twist our hook. So keep grabbing onto the loop. We're just going to twist it clockwise, just 180 degrees like this, basically kind of twist it. Then after this, see this yarn coming out from your ring finger and pinky? This is the yarn that's connected to the yarn ball. We are going to yarn over on that yarn. So we're gonna place our hook underneath the yarn, then we're gonna go behind and over like this. Once we've grabbed the yarn, we're gonna pull it through the loop on our hook. This is our loop. We're gonna pull it through. This may be a little bit tricky, and we got it. So now here is our magic ring. Congratulations. So you can see that there is a loop in the middle, and we want the loop to be smaller. So we're gonna hold onto the tail, pull it, until it gets a little bit smaller like this. Then now we're gonna learn how to hold our supplies. So the way I like to hold my yarn, I'm gonna place my yarn on top of my 3 fingers, these 3 fingers. Then I'm going to go behind and under, basically wrap it around my 3 fingers like this. And then ring finger and pinky is gonna hold onto these the strands of yarns. Then I'm gonna bring my yarn behind my index finger like this, and with my middle finger and pinky I'm just gonna hold onto our piece like this. And then remember, for the index finger you're always gonna point it up like straight so that the yarn can slide through easily. So this is essentially how I hold my yarn. And for the hook, I just like to hold it like how I'm writing, so just like this. And sometimes there's loops on the hook, so I just like to hold it with my middle finger to hold onto the loops. But that's just personal preference. So basically that's how I hold my supplies. So now let's start making the stitches. So first we're going to start by chaining 2 to start the round, because for each round there's height to each stitch. In order to start a round, you need to give height to that stitch. So the height and the stitch that we're going to do is double crochet, and the height for double crochet is 2 chains. We're gonna start the round with making 2 chains. So with magic ring, essentially you already have 1 chain here. The V that you see right here, right underneath our hook, is our first chain. Now that means that we're gonna only chain 1 more. This is called working yarn. To chain, we're gonna bring our hook to the back of the yarn, the working yarn, and over and on top. This is called a yarn over. Then we're gonna pull it through the loop on our hook like this, and this is called a chain. So what we did is 1 chain, but because with the magic ring we already had 1, in total we have 2, so we're good to go. So now let's make the stitches. Ring right here, this small circle in the middle. So we're gonna make 12 double crochet. So let me demonstrate how to make a double crochet. First we're gonna hold on to, you know, like this magic ring as well as the tail here. We're gonna hold on to that. So now first do a double crochet. We're gonna start by yarning over. So bring our hook to the back of the working yarn and over and on top like this. Basically wrap your yarn around your hook once. Then we're gonna insert our hook into the ring. And by into the ring I mean also going under the tail. So the tail should be caught on your hook as well. So after yarning over, we're gonna pull it through the magic ring like this. Now we got 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again, and we're just gonna pull through the first 2 loops. So this one is the first, this one is second. So yarn over, bring our hook to the back, over and on top of the working yarn. Then we're gonna pull it through the first loop and then the second loop like this. Now we got 2 loops left on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through the rest of the 2 loops. So yarn over, then just pull it through like this. So congrats, this is your very first double crochet. For the first double crochet for each round, we always need to put a stitch marker onto it. And then you can look at your stitch on the side. So you can see that there will be 3 V's. I think it might be a little bit hard because it's white, but essentially there should be 3 V's. So the first 2 V's being the 2 chains, then the top V is our very first stitch. And we want to place our stitch marker onto the very top V right here. So we're just gonna stick our stitch marker right underneath the V like this. Then we're gonna lock it. If you don't have stitch marker, you can use bobby pins or hoop earrings, safety pins. They work just fine as well. Then I'm gonna put my hook back into the loop, then just pull the working yarn to tighten it. Then we're gonna continue making double crochet. So let's do it again. So yarn over first. Bring our hook behind and over the working yarn. Then insert our hook into the ring. And remember, this tail right here should be caught on your hook as well. Then we're gonna yarn over again. Yarn over. And then we're going to pull it through the magic ring. Now we got 3 loops on your hook, and we're gonna yarn over and pull through just the first 2. This one's the first, this one's the second. So yarn over, bring our hook behind and over and on top of the working yarn. Then we're going to pull it through. So I pull through the first loop, and then the second one. Now we're left with 2 loops on our hook. Now we're just gonna yarn over and pull it all together. So yarn over, just pull them all through like this. And this is our second double crochet. And congrats for making your second, because basically our whole earmuffs, essentially the main stitch that we're going to use is double crochet. So if you can make this, you're pretty much good to go. So let's continue. So yarn over again to make our third double crochet. Yarn over, then place our hook into the magic ring like this. And remember to always have your tail on your hook as well. Then yarn over, pull it through the ring, pull it through the magic ring, and that would bring up a loop. Now we got 3 loops on our hook. Now we're going to yarn over again. Once your hook has grabbed onto the working yarn, we're going to pull it through the first 2 loops. Gone through the first and go through the second. Now we have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and pull it through. So yarn over and pull it through both loops. Now we got 3 stitches. Now let's do it again. Yarn over first. Insert our hook into the magic ring. And then yarn over again. Pull it through the ring to bring up a loop. Now we've got 3 loops on our hook. Now we're going to yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops. And then now we're left with 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull it through both loops. This is our 4th one, and I'm going to demonstrate this one more time. So yarn over, and then insert your hook into the ring. Then yarn over, pull it through the ring. Then that would bring up a loop. So now we got 3 loops in total, and now we're going to yarn over and pull through just the first 2 loops. The first and the second. Now we got 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again, and then now we're going to pull it through both loops. Just like this. Now we have got 5 double crochets in total, and now we're going to make a total of 12. So now we got 7 more double crochet to go. So I'm just gonna quickly finish this off. It's basically the same step, so if you forgot how to do it, don't worry, you can rewatch these parts where I demonstrated it very slowly. So now I have finished 12 double crochet, and now we're going to close up the gap in the middle, and we're just going to pull this tail here. We're just going to pull it like this, and then after this we are going to connect it back to our very first stitch to close up the circle and finish off round 1. So essentially we're just going to insert our hook back into the very first stitch, right into where the stitch marker is at. So basically going into a V, going under a V. So just going right into where the stitch marker is. And then just take our stitch marker out. Then we're just going to do a slip stitch here. So I'm just going to pull my working yarn here, tighten it a little bit. Then we're going to do a slip stitch. And to do a slip stitch, we're just going to yarn over, pull it through the stitch, the first stitch like this. And that will bring up a loop here on the left. With the loop that we brought up, we're going to pull it through the loop on the right. So we just pull it through like this. And then here is the most important part. We have to tighten it. So we're just going to grab our hook and we just pull it to make it as tight as possible, like this. Tightening it is very important because, as you can see here, it creates a tiny little knot that is barely visible. If you don't tighten it, you will mistaken it as a stitch, and you'll end up having like extra stitches because you would think that the slip stitch was an extra stitch. So it's going to be problematic, so make sure you tighten it. So congrats, you have finished round 1. I'm very proud of you. And now we're going to move on to round 2. And remember, as I said, to start each round, we're going to start the round with the chain 2. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start the round with chaining 2. So first we're going to yarn over. Then we're going to pull it through the loop on our hook. Just pull it through like this. Then we're going to do it again, yarn over, and then pull it through the loop like this. Now after this, we are going to start making our stitches. This is where we're gonna make our stitches from round 2 and onwards. If you look at your work from above, you can see that there's a bunch of V's. So here's a V here, and then a V here, and every V represents a stitch from the previous round. So now in a new round, we're just gonna do the stitches in the V from the previous round. That's where we're gonna insert our hook. So now let's do our first double crochet. So the double crochet do not change. It's the same stitch all over, so you got it. So first we're gonna start by yarning over like this, then insert our hook into the V. So when you look at your stitch from above like this, the V that's right next to the chain 2, which is here, the V right here, that's where we're gonna be inserting our hook into for our very first stitch. So we just insert our hook into that V. As you can see, I'm going through both loops of the V. Technically, you're going under the V, like this. Now, nothing has changed. We're going to yarn over like normal. Then we're gonna pull it through the stitch to bring up a loop. Now we got 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops, the first loop and the second loop. Now we're left with 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over and just pull it through both loops all together. And now this is our very first stitch of this round, and we're going to mark the first stitch as usual. That's very important as well, do not forget this. Look at this stitch from on the side, so you can see that there's 3 V's. So 1, 2, 3. So the top V is our very first stitch, and that's where we're gonna insert our stitch marker. So basically I'm going under the V like this, and then just lock it. Then I'm just gonna continue on with my piece. So for round 2, something special. So because we're gonna make a circle is gonna expand from the center and expand outwards, right? That means that we're going to progressively make more stitches. And for round 2, we are going to make increases for each stitch. And increases means that we're gonna place 2 stitches in 1 stitch for every single stitch. And putting 2 stitches in 1 stitch is called an increase. So as you can see, for our first stitch, we've only put 1 stitch. But since for round 2, we're gonna make increases, we're gonna put another stitch here, right into the same stitch that we did before to make an increase. So let me demonstrate this. First, we're gonna yarn over, same as it's just normal. We're just gonna make another double crochet. First, yarn over, then we're gonna insert our hook back into the same place that we placed our very first stitch. So as you can see, there's a little hole right here. We're just gonna place it into this. Then we're going to make a double crochet. So yarn over and then pull it through. Now we got 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again, pull it through the first 2 loops. Now we got 2 loops left, yarn over, pull it through both loops like this. Now as you can see, we got 2 stitches coming out from 1 stitch. So that is called an increase. And we are going to do an increase for every single stitch. So now let's move on to the second stitch. So the second stitch is right here, the next V. We're going to yarn over, start it off, and we're going to insert a hook under the next V. So basically go under the both loops of the V like this. Then we're just going to place the double crochet. So yarn over, pull it through the stitch. Now we got 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull it through both loops on our hook. I mean like the first 2 loops. Then now we're left with 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull it all together, pull it through. Now we've made our first stitch of the increase. Now we're gonna make a second stitch to complete our increase. So yarn over again, insert our hook back into the same stitch, and it's pretty easy to spot because you can literally see like a hole here. Just go back into where you did your stitch, then just yarn over, pull it through the stitch to bring up a loop. Now we got 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops. Now yarn over again to pull it through the rest of the 2 loops, like this. Now this is our second increase. And then for our third one, it's basically the same. It's actually the same. So for the rest of our piece, it's actually the same. So again, yarn over to start it off. Then we're going to insert a hook to the next V, which is here. Then just go under the V. See, my hook is going under both loops. Then just place a double crochet. I think by now, everyone kind of got the hang of how to make the double crochet. Then I won't do the explaining as much. Just like this. And if you forgot how to do a double crochet, you can always rewatch the first part the first few stitches. Then now we've made 1 double crochet, and now we're going to make a second one. So yarn over again, insert a hook back into the same stitch, then just do a double crochet. Like this. Then I'm going to demonstrate this one more time, how to make an increase. So yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, then yarn over again. Then now we got 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2. Now we got 2 loops left, yarn over, pull it through all 2. Now this is our first stitch of the increase. Now we're going to do it again, and going back into the same loop here, the same stitch, then just place another one. So as you can see, it is pretty repetitive. Basically, we're just placing 2 double crochet in each stitch. So 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and so on and so forth. So basically just repeating these steps, and I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off the round. It's really repetitive, so if you forgot the steps, feel free to rewatch these first few pairs that I did. Now I'm on my very last stitch. Here, this is my last stitch. Then I'm gonna do my last increase. Nothing has changed. And this is my first double crochet, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my second one. Then we're just gonna connect it back to the first stitch. Then we're going to insert into the very first stitch, just where the stitch marker was located. Then we're just going to do a I almost did it before I showed you guys. We're gonna do a slip stitch. So we're going to yarn over, then we're gonna pull it through the stitch like this. Then with the loop that we pulled up, which is this loop on the left, we're gonna pull it through the loop on our right. So we're just gonna pull it through like this. Then we're just going to do the most important step. We're going to tighten it, and this cannot be forgotten. This is very important. Tighten it tight, and then there we go. Here is our round 2, and we're gonna start round 3 now. As usual, we're gonna start the round by chaining 2. So that's what we're gonna do. So first we're gonna chain 2, yarn over, pull it through the loop on our hook. And this chain 1, you can see that there is a V. Then we're gonna do it again, yarn over and pull it through the loop on your hook. And that is our chain 2. And it equals to 2 V's right here. Then we're gonna do our very first stitch. So we're gonna find the V that's closest to our chain. So our chain is here, and the closest V to its left is this V right here. So this is our very first stitch. So we're gonna do this. So yarn over, insert your hook into the very first stitch, going under both loops like this, and then just place a double crochet. Of course, after every first stitch, you have to place your stitch marker. So place the stitch marker on the very top V. Go under 2 loops like this, and then we're gonna stick our hook back into the loop. Now for round 3, here is our sequence. We're no longer gonna do increases, which is 2 stitches in 1 stitch. Now the sequence is one stitch followed by an increase, 1 stitch, and an increase, 1 stitch, increase, and this is going to repeat until the round ends. So in total you should have 1 stitch, 1 increase, and this set is going to repeat for 12 times. So now this is our very first stitch. Now it's followed by an increase. So that means that the next stitch here is going to be an increase, meaning 2 stitches in 1 stitch. So let's do an increase on the following stitch. So insert your hook into the next stitch, then place a double crochet like normal. And then going back into the same stitch, because this is an increase, so just go back and then place another double crochet. And we have finished our first set. So 1 single double crochet, then we got an increase. Then again 1 double crochet here, then it's followed by 2 double crochet, which is an increase. So let's do the second set. So yarn over, place 1 double crochet onto the next stitch like this. Then it's followed by an increase. So yarn over, insert your hook into the following stitch, like this, and then make another stitch going back into the same stitch here to make an increase. Like this. And this is our second set. So we're going to continue. The next stitch is a double crochet, just 1 double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, then just place 1 double crochet. And then it's followed by an increase, which means we're going to place 2 double crochet in that stitch. So place our first double crochet in that stitch, and then the second double crochet in the exact same stitch. And then we're going to do this again. For the next stitch, just 1 double crochet, then it's followed by an increase. So place our first double crochet like this, then we're gonna place a second double crochet back into the same stitch. So I think everyone has got the gist of the sequence. Basically, we're just going to do 1 double crochet followed by an increase, which means 2 double crochet, then 1 double crochet, then 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and 2 double crochet, and until the round ends. So now I'm just gonna finish it off, basically repeating what we've done. And what I love about making rounds is that it's super repetitive. Once I've showed you the first few sequence, you're able to get the hang of it. So let me just finish this off. now I'm on my last set, so I'm just gonna finish it off like normal. So 1 double crochet, so just 1 double crochet followed by an increase, so 2 double crochet in 1 stitch. So now we're finished with round 3, so we're just going to go ahead and connect it back to the very first stitch. So we're just going to take our stitch marker out, just stick our hook into the first stitch. Then we're going to do a slip stitch. So we're just going to yarn over on the working yarn, pull it through the stitch. With the loop that we pulled up, we're going to also pull it through the loop on our hook like this. And of course, the most important step, tightening it. This is very important. I cannot stress this enough. So just tighten it. After this, let's start a round 4. So of course, every time we have to chain 2 to start a round. So yarn over, pull it through your loop. This is our chain 1, yarn over again, pull it through the loop, and this is our chain 2. So now let's make our very first stitch. So again, look at our chain 2, the V on its left, closest V, this is our first stitch. So just place our very first double crochet into the first stitch, like this. Now the sequence, and of course for the first stitch I almost forgot, we gotta mark it with our stitch marker. So just place it on top of the very top V. So the sequence for round 4 is an increase, which is 2 double crochet followed by 2 separate double crochet. So an increase, double crochet, increase, double crochet, double crochet. So that's the sequence for round 4. But here's the thing with increases. When you stack the increases, as you can see, this one is the increase from previous round, this increase. If we also stack an increase on top of this pair of increase, then your piece is going to become a hexagon. It's gonna have like little corners, and it's not gonna be round. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna avoid stacking the increase. So this is the increase. We're gonna avoid stacking the increase on top of the increase for the next round. What we're gonna do is that we are going to start by making an increase first. So increase, double crochet, increase, double crochet until the round ends. So that's what we're gonna do. If you didn't understand what I just talked about, it's fine, you can just follow along. So we've made our first double crochet. We're just going to add another double crochet onto the exact same stitch to make a increase. So this one is an increase. For the following next 2 stitches, it's just gonna be just double crochet. So as you can see, this one is just 1 double crochet. Then the next stitch is also just 1 double crochet. Like this. I think this is pretty clear. 1 increase, double crochet. Then it's going to repeat 1 increase, double crochet. So let's continue. For the next set, we're going to do an increase. So here's our first double crochet for the increase. Then going back into the same stitch, do another increase, do another double crochet. Then for the following 2 stitches, just 1 double crochet on each stitch. And the second double crochet on the next stitch. Just like this. And now we're just gonna continue. Again, increase, going back to the same stitch. And then for the next 2 stitches, we're gonna do double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, the second double crochet on the next stitch. So basically just like this, nothing has changed. So honestly, it's just once you know the sequence, you just keep repeating that pattern and then until the round ends. So for this round, just an increase, double crochet, increase, double crochet. And that's basically what the pattern is going to look like. Just repeat it all around the piece.
What the dog doing?
So now I'm on the last set. So an increase first. And then followed by 2 separate double crochet. Now we're just gonna finish this round off by doing a slip stitch back to the first stitch. So just insert your hook into the first stitch. Then we're going to do a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull it through the stitch, then also pull it through the loop on your hook. Then remember to tighten it. Very important. Then we're up to round 5. That's our last round to make the earmuff. So you're doing really good. So first, as usual, just chain 2. So yarn over, pull it through your loop, and yarn over again, pull it through the loop on your hook. Now we got 2 chains. Now just as normal, we're just gonna place our first double crochet to start the round. Yarn over, insert your hook into the very first stitch. Just place a double crochet. Then of course, you cannot miss this, the stitch marker. Just place it on top of the V right on the top like here. And then for this sequence, as I said that we cannot stack the increases on top of each other. So we're gonna start with 3 double crochet separately, then an increase. Then double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, increase, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, increase. I feel like I'm rapping. So we're just gonna start with the double crochet instead of the increase, just like the previous round. But again, if you don't get it, it's totally fine. Just follow along and you'll be fine. So first, we have made our first double crochet. Then for the following 2 stitches, we're also gonna make 1 double crochet on each stitch. So go into the next stitch, do a double crochet like this, then double crochet again on the next stitch. like this. Then for the fourth stitch, we're going to do an increase. So that's the first stitch for the increase. Going back to the same stitch that we did, place another one to make an increase. Like this. Now we're going to repeat this. We're going to do 3 double crochet followed by an increase. So my first double crochet, and my second double crochet, then my third double crochet. Just like this. Then followed by an increase. Just like this. So as you can see, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, increase. Then double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, increase. So we're just going to repeat this again. So 3 separate double crochet. So my first double crochet, and my second double crochet, then my third double crochet. Then it's followed by an increase. Like this. Then again, 3 double crochet. So I've done my first double crochet. I'm going into the next stitch for the second double crochet. And going into the following stitch for the third double crochet. And for my fourth one, I'm doing an increase. So this is basically our sequence. This is our pattern for this round. So 3 separate double crochet followed by an increase, and we're just going to repeat this until the round ends. Now I have 4 stitches left. Then I have to do 3 double crochet. So my first double crochet, then this is my second double crochet, then my third double crochet. And then on the last stitch, I should end on an increase. So I'm just gonna do an increase here on the last stitch. Like this. And then now we're done. Now we're so close to finishing this. So we're just going to slip stitch back into the very first stitch. And then just do a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull it through the stitch, then pull it through the loop on your hook. Then tighten this as usual. So basically we're done with this piece. What we're gonna do is to fasten off. So to fasten off, we're just gonna chain 1. So yarn over, pull it through the loop on your hook. Pull like a pretty big loop. So we're just gonna cut the loop. Then we're gonna tighten the tail. And congrats, you're done with this piece. You're gonna make 3 more to have a total of 4 circles like this. So now we have made 4 circles, and we're going to pick 2 circles and we're going to attach the bows onto these 2 pieces. And I've made a